Good evening. Tonight marks the end of an era. At long last, President Obama delivered his final State of the Union address. Of course, as in years past, the president's remarks didn't tell the full story. As President Obama enters his final months in office, our national debt stands at nearly $19 trillion. More than 81,000 pages of new government rules and regulations were added to the Federal Registry in last year alone, setting an all-time record. A recent Gallup poll found that, for the second year in a row, Americans view their own government as the single biggest problem facing this nation. Mr. President, here's the real State of the Union. We are a country put at risk because of your failure to lead. ISIS is on the march, and last month's tragedy in San Bernardino, California, constituted the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil since September the 11th, 2001. And how does the president respond? By circumventing Congress to unilaterally diminish American Second Amendment rights. Meanwhile, just last week, authorities arrested 2 people on terrorism-related charges who entered the United States under the guise of refugee status. Yet the president has callously threatened to veto bipartisan legislation strengthening the refugee vetting process. President Obama promised us hope and change, but instead he left us with cynicism and more of the same. That's why conservatives in Congress must fight twice as hard to ensure that our solutions are heard. We still have a responsibility to set our ideas on the table and put this president on record. In that spirit, the House has already voted this month to repeal the worst parts of Obamacare and to end taxpayer funding for Planned Parenthood, instead reallocating those dollars to the community health centers that protect life and women's health. It is also why, later this year, we will unveil a plan to replace Obamacare with real-world, workable alternative. It is why, this week, the House is passing tough new legislation confronting the aggressions of North Korea and Iran. And it is why, once again, my colleagues and I on the Budget Committee will introduce a responsible, timely budget proposal that will bring our books to balance. Look, we face big challenges as a country. One of them lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But I am still hopeful because I have seen the promise of the American dream proven true in my own life. Only here, someone like me, the daughter of parents with no more than a 9th grade education, go from living in the halls of a humble public housing complex to serving in the halls of the United States Capitol. I know that story is still possible today, and that the policies we embrace as conservatives will ensure that remains true into the future. Our vision allows every person, no matter where they come from, what their last name is, or how much money was in their bank account, a shot at writing their own story and pursuing the American dream. That is why what we're fighting for, and it's a fight I intend to win. Thank you for listening and for allowing me the great honor of serving you in Congress. Good night, and God bless.